Tēnā tātou katoa, ka nui te mihi kia koutou katoa. E te kingi tū heitia tēnā koe. This video update provides an overview of our half-year performance and some of the key highlights. On the 1st of April this year, Tirikinui Group Holdings was confirmed as the Chief Investment Officer to implement Te Arataura's new investment strategy, Puna Whakatuputangata. This strategy establishes important tikanga that guides the way TGH does its mahi and is aimed at bringing greater diversity and balance to our asset portfolio. We see Puna Whakatuputangata as our guiding blueprint to provide commercial leadership with an iwi worldview. Tribal funds began transitioning to Tirikinui Group Holdings management from the 1st of August, and we are now underway with investing these funds in global shares, fixed interest bonds and other listed securities. This graphic illustrates the Land Trust asset allocation in accordance with Puna Whakatuputangata and our progress to date. It is too soon to provide any meaningful performance data for all 4 of the tribal funds that we now manage, but I look forward to sharing the detail of that performance with you at financial year end. Net operating profit after tax for the half year ending 30 September 2021 is 2.3 million ahead of budget. The extension of Ministry of Health contracts at 2 of our hotels for managed isolation, offset by deferred farming returns, accounts for this result. Net operating profit after tax is forecast to year end at 18.9 million, which is about $1.5 million ahead of budget. We remain on target to meet the net profit of 91.9 million.
Kia ora koutou katoa. Today I'd just like to start by giving you an update on the impact of COVID-19 on TGH. As you would expect, COVID-19 has had an impact on a number of our businesses and investments, but primarily our hotels and our retail assets. We've been very lucky in the sense that because we have 2 of our 3 hotels as part of the MIF or managed isolation process, that has negated a lot of the impacts that we felt in the first round of COVID. But nonetheless, what we're seeing is that particularly the retail components have suffered as both the centre place and the base have been closed. But what we've also seen in that the base in particular has had a really strong online presence, which has enabled many of our tenants to function, and the problems really reside in what we call personal services, which are the hairdressers and cosmetics. We're really struggling, as well as the food retailers. In terms of the other parts of our portfolio, shares have been quite volatile, so we saw those see a bit of a decline early on, and they've bounced back in recent weeks. We've also seen some really strong gains in our private equity portfolio, things like Ruakura Milking Systems, My Food Bag, and those have really helped underpin the portfolio. We've got the 2 hotels in MIF and the Novotel Tirikinui here in Hamilton. That has really suffered, where when we went into lockdown we saw pretty much all the business or forward bookings be cancelled, and that's equivalent to about $500,000 worth of profit. So overall, we track well. We're really pleased with how we've been performing. The steps that we took after the COVID lockdowns last year have meant that we've been a lot more resilient, and that's enabled us to be able to be on track to deliver our budget, for this year, which I think is a great effort and a great testament to our team. As we spoke to you previously, we've had a strong strategy around activating our whenua and looking to join up some of those pieces of whenua where we own the underlying land but don't own the buildings. And one of those pieces I'm really proud to announce is that we've acquired the warehouse building here in Hamilton. So that sits on land that come back in 1995 in the Ruakura settlement. During October, as we've managed to acquire the warehouse building itself. And what that does is it aggregates the ownership interest of both the land and the buildings together. It gives us a substantial increase in income, which is really important, but also the value of the land and buildings together gives us an uplift in our balance sheet also. A great outcome and a great illustration of our strategy where we're looking to make more of the whenua that we have. So activate it by not just owning the underlying land, but also the improvements that sit on top of it. Continuing on with the theme of activating our whenua, we've been working through our partnership with New Zealand Police. So that started with the Cambridge Police Base, and we're really excited that that is on track and on time. So we've appointed the contractor, and that will be built in the next 18 months or so. Our major project that we're focusing on is the Ruakura Super Hub, and it's progressing really well. What we're seeing on site at the moment is we've been focused on delivering the underlying infrastructure. So as you drive past, you'll see that there's been new roads being built, and you'll see a lot of earthworks that have been happening to build the stormwater swales, the wetland, and various other components of the development. And what these things do is they set up and enable the future development, which is really important. We're really proud that we've been able to use various forms of social procurement, and a number of our iwi members have benefited through employment and gaining contracts in those various pieces of work. So we're on track there around the infrastructure for that to be completed towards mid next year. And what that does is just enable the development of the whole site. We've talked to you previously around leasing and also the impacts of COVID and how that has accelerated the need for people to have warehousing and distribution. We've seen a real push from people that are wanting to come to the Ruakura for their distribution and logistics hubs. And what that has driven is real demand from our tenants. In those first stage of Ruakura, we have demand for about 70% of the whenua there, and that's increasing day by day. And we're very close with being able to announce another 3 or 4 tenants, which we will expect to be fully leased up and construction underway. So these are household names that you'll all know. And once we're in a position to be able to share those, we will. I think this is going to be a real game changer, not only for us, our iwi, but also for the city and the country as a whole. Our other major construction project is Tirikinui, the Pullman Hotel at Auckland Airport. We chose to build just the shell of the building to minimise the risk around long-term delays and impacts to tourism through COVID. And we're really proud that we've now got the shell and that's complete. And in the next few weeks, we'll be making a decision around the fit out and appointment of contractors to build the rooms. And that will take approximately another 20 to 24 months to complete the hotel. That's a little bit longer than we originally envisaged, but what that has done is enable us to minimise the risk around COVID and tourism numbers being a lot lower for a long period of time. And the timing of when Tirikinui will open will align with when we think we'll start to see big numbers of tourism inflows coming back into the country. After the initial investment in Kawerau Forest some 27 years ago by the Tainui Māori Trust Board, we've reached the point now where we're ready to start harvesting. So the trees have reached maturity, and we've been working with mana whenua around how we do that, because we're really cognizant of the need to both maximise the economic opportunity for harvesting the trees, but also minimise and negate any potential environmental risks that come from harvesting. What that means is working with mana whenua so that there is no sediment going into the moana, that we keep waterways clean and clear. So we're very confident that we can manage the harvest in a way that has no impact at all on kawhua moana. And we're also working with Tāne Mahuta around how we can create more opportunities for our people, both in the harvesting of the trees, but also in the replanting that happens after, because that will create long-term, enduring opportunities for employment.
Last year, we advised Te Whakakitenga that we were looking into options for Tainui Group Holdings to partner with Marae on investment opportunities. Our reasons for doing this were twofold. to support marae by providing an opportunity to invest in an asset returning better interest rates than a bank term deposit, and to give marae an opportunity to have a direct shareholding in a TGH asset. Our most important consideration with this investment opportunity is that the risk to marae is low, with consistent and predictable cash returns. We've done considerable work in developing this investment proposal and have identified an asset that we believe will give a good return with minimal risk to marae. A long-term prepaid ground lease will be set up for the Service Centre Whenua at Ruakura. The site will be subleased to the Waitomo Group. We propose to offer marae a shareholding in the ground lease. We're pleased to report that the Tainui Group Holdings Board and Te Ara Taura have approved the social procurement strategy that we have jointly developed with the team at Waikato Tainui. We look forward to implementing this strategy, which we are confident will create an aligned approach to creating business and employment opportunities for our iwi. Kia ora whānau. Thank you so much for watching this video update.
It's been a real privilege just to share some of the things that we've been up to.
Noho ora mai.
Ka kite.